Hello, Leo, and welcome to your December General Overview Tarot reading. This message is for just the general feeling vibe of the month of December for the sign of Leo. This can be your sun, moon, rising, or Venus. Take what resonates, release what doesn't. We have the first card that shows up is the Ten of Pentacles. I'm going to say this before I even get started on this reading. I have already attempted to do this reading one time. And for whatever reason, when I got to the very end of it, I had this massive coughing fit. So I had to just delete the whole video. Ten of Pentacles was in that reading. It was out of this deck right here. And it was a totally different vibe than the Ten of Pentacles I'm seeing now. The Ten of Pentacles that I seen in your prior reading was talking about a Ten of Pentacles that had been intercepted, taken. I did feel some sort of family involvement with that energy. So I'm just putting this out there just in case it shows up this time. I That'll be that extra validation. But anyhow, starting off, I'm seeing Mercury bringing in some sort of news or information regarding finances, money, resources. I do feel a certain way about this, but we're going to keep going and we'll see what shows up. We have Mercury showing up again right here. There is a lot of information that's about to come through. I feel quite quickly. It can feel very overwhelming because there is going to be a lot either being said, exposed, or happening at one time. I do feel like this has a big impact on someone's resources, money, finances, that sort of energy. So let's see what energies are wanting to show up for the sign of Leo. Let's see what this looks like for Leo. Next card that comes out. This did show up in the last reading as well. So we'll see if this really, I'll tell you, with every card that shows up, I will tell you if this showed up in the prior reading. So you have that. Just knowledge is power, right? Um, and so, with this Nine of Wands, first and foremost, I want to say this is the end of a cycle. This cycle is closing out. There does feel like there's some um, growth, expansion taking place. I'm also feeling this is somebody who is rising above and leaving some things behind. I feel what they're rising above and leaving behind are the challenges, the things that were thrown at them. Look, 9 to the 10, and this did show up several times in that prior reading. And in that prior reading, what I felt, and so did this King of Sword or King of Fire that's right underneath, both of these showed up. In that prior reading, I did feel where there was a bunch of, there was information that was hidden or people lied about. And that hidden information or those lies really created a lot of burdens, baggage, heavy weight, challenges for, I feel, the sign of Leo, because this is who I'm reading for. I do feel like this was all stemming from either within a family or group of family members, something like that is what I was seeing. And I did feel with this card showing up where this information was hidden, and it felt intentional, like if you knew this information, it felt like it would liberate you in some way, shape, or form. And it's a result of, like, I feel like there was a group of people or at least several people who were involved in manipulating this information, lying about this information, hiding this information in order to um, like create blocks for someone to move forward, to create burdens, hardships, that sort of energy. I did feel that energy, and we can see it right here. You see Saturn right there. Someone's about to experience some real big lessons. And I'm seeing Sagittarius energy right there. We're also seeing Sagittarius energy right there. We are officially in Sagittarius season. So this can be the time where this is discovered. I do feel like there's going to be some lessons learned, and I did feel that when I was doing that other reading, where I felt like someone had to, like, they're going to be held accountable. There would be consequences. There was karma that was going to come through with all of this, as well as there should be, right? Because you shouldn't be doing all of that stuff. So, anyhow, I'm just saying, I just want to make sure you know and are aware of what came out in the prior reading and this reading. So, hopefully, it brings you additional information and validation. So, let's keep moving forward. Needless to say, this is the end of a cycle. Um, and that's a good thing, right? That this showed up. And this was exactly what I was talking about when it came to a group or a bunch of people, a collaboration of some sort. There's Mercury again. Mercury is showing up in all of these energies that are popping out. Mercury is retrograde right now. So Mercury was sitting at 28 degrees with the moon and the sun during the new moon in Scorpio. So Mercury is retrograde. So being having that energy of Mercury retrograde with that new moon in Scorpio is an indication that whatever information, communication, whatever this was, it's being exposed. That new moon is shedding a new light. It's shining a light for a new beginning. And that new beginning cannot transpire, take place, manifest into reality without a truth being exposed. I am feeling this energy. Um, Hold on, sorry. Um, Let me just respond to this real quick. Sorry. I don't mean to do that. But anyhow, I feel like this information, and this to me is where I felt that energy of family, because 16, this right here is the sign of Cancer. Cancer talks about home, family, foundation, the place you feel safe, secured, nurtured, and loved. I feel like there was a group of people. I felt that in that other reading. The next card that comes up is the Two of Pentacles. So this is about choices and decisions. I'm seeing Jupiter again. I'm feeling a lot of Jupiter in this energy already, where it's time for this to be discovered, disclosed. I feel like it's an offer and an opportunity for someone to make a choice and decision on moving forward in the direction that they are going and who they're taking along with them. Straight up, Ten of Wands again at the bottom of the deck. Straight up, I do feel like, and I did feel it in that other energy, where somebody was not going to save, whether it be family or not, they were not going to save someone from the karma, from the consequences of their deceptive behavior. We'll see if the Ten of Pentacles shows up in this deck right here, but this is where I could see had been some sort of theft or um, um, sorry. No, um, there was some sort of theft, or somebody put their hands into something that didn't belong to them. It was just that information, but we will see if it shows up again. But nonetheless, anyway, I'm looking at this, I'm feeling that this is a closing out of a cycle. There's an end of a challenging cycle. I feel like somebody is entering into a new cycle. It feels more secure. It feels more stable. It feels, um, like an increase, I feel, in finances, resources, that sort of energy, and I cannot make it up. There it is. There's this new beginning. I do feel, and I felt in that other reading, that there had been an interception, there had been a theft of something that belonged to somebody, and I do feel it was a monetary theft. Like they stole money, resources, finances, they stole something, and lied about it, hid it. I felt like there was a lot of energy that we're all playing together in this. There was a group, there was more than one person involved in doing whatever this was that was done. Um, and it really created like hardships for somebody. It restricted their movement forward, their growth, their path, their where they were meant to go. Bam! I'm telling you, I could say this, and I swear I am. People can think of any way they want, but I'm all about that. If somebody has done something like this, well, I don't understand why they would do something like that. I can definitely feel and in my most genuine, sincere space in my heart and soul, know that holding them accountable and having consequences for that behavior is for the good of all. Because if you don't hold people accountable for these kinds of actions, they continue to do them. And it doesn't serve them well, it doesn't serve you well, and it doesn't do anything for humanity as a whole. So I'm just saying there was something that was abundant, that was for somebody, from what's underneath there, the Ace of Wands to this, look. I cannot make it up. I can just keep pulling, but I'm not going to. Underneath this Empress energy, which is that nurturing, this is that love, this is that abundance energy, right? There is a new beginning, because this abundance, it's going to be returned to its rightful owner. Let me just tell you that. And then there will be this new beginning. This will allow someone to close out a cycle and go on this new beginning. You see that already over here, right? They're going to be able to, with loyal people, loyal connections. There is a tower that's coming down, and it has taken a long time for this to get here. But what is manifesting right now is this tower, people being kicked, cast out, like kicked to the curb, like thrown out of something that was never intended for them, but they somehow intercepted, took it upon themselves to claim, steal, manipulate, whatever they did to get this. It's been a very long time coming, but this manifestation, there's Mercury again. The truth about this information is coming out. There's the Queen of Swords. Wow, to the Star card. Like, whew, I can just say how I feel about this, where whoever this was who has really gone through some very extreme challenges, right? Like, and still continued to persevere, still continued to do the right thing, still continued to move forward. There is such a blessing, like, in the very near future for you. I feel like this is all somehow manifesting, coming to fruition, being exposed during this month of December. It's almost like I feel like when January 1st hits, you will be literally moving into an entirely new year, into an entirely new world. And there is this energy of, you know, like I said, there, it feels to me like there is an external energy that's going to not be going through such a beautiful year in 2026. So there's the Three of Coins. Like I said, somebody I feel is still focused, working hard, trying to build something, trying to grow, trying to expand. Bottom of the deck is the Seven of Pentacles. We got the Three of Pentacles, the Seven of Pentacles, ultimately adding up to the Ten of Pentacles, right? Somebody has been, they've been delayed. They've been delayed because in the past there was something that was sabotaging their growth, their expansion. And you don't, like, for some, it's all going to differ, depending on your story, your path, your whatever this is. Boy, I really hope not. Every time I try to talk about thieves that stole like money, inheritances, stuff like that, every reading, if I go through and talk about love or relationship and things like that, no coughing. Let me talk about somebody stealing inheritances or money, and I cannot stop coughing. So I feel there is definitely somebody trying to um um hold on, sorry. I do feel like there's somebody trying to block my throat chakra for sure. Like, I feel like there is a spiritual war that's been going on and taking place for a long time, and it doesn't make a difference. I'm going to continue to speak my truth, whether people like that or not. Eight of Wands in reverse. This is an energy that I feel somebody is trying to block, stop, delay. Make sure this is somebody knocking themselves out to make sure this isn't exposed, that this information doesn't come into you. You're not giving clarity on that situation. They know the loss they're going to take if this does. They can see that happening. I do feel for a lot. I feel like the lack of clarity, transparency, and information in regards to whatever this is. Um, uh, sorry. Um, I do feel like there is this intentional, where there was this intentional um, blocking of information, because this would have changed everything for somebody. Let's look at this. Look, there it is, Knight of Wands. Ooh, somebody made a choice. That's what this family, this group of family, they acted real quickly, took action quite quickly. They did something reckless, is what they did. I feel for whatever this reckless act, and they hid something. They hid some sign of some sort of information or communication or something that was meant to come in for you, that would have propelled you forward in life. I do feel like this is something to do with finances and resources. Next card that comes out, Two of Pentacles to the Two of Wands. So this is where this is choices, decisions, big choices, big decisions in moving forward. This is somebody who I feel has been, hidden, like it feels not so much hidden, that's not the appropriate thing to the word for it, but really restricted, like stuck inside of four walls, stuck behind a gate, right where the gate was closed. They couldn't move forward. The doors weren't open to whatever this was. I feel intuitively this did show up in the prior reading. Someone knew something was wrong, something was off, something didn't feel right. And look at I said it, here it is, right? Somebody intuitively knew that there was a new beginning that was meant for somebody. Someone stole it. Someone took it. Someone put their hands in a jar that didn't belong to them. There is that Ten of Pentacles, that thief I'm talking about. This is somebody who dipped into or got their hands on something that didn't belong to them. It has been a very long time coming. Where is that Knight of Wands? He was out here, not Knight of Wands, Knight of Coins. He was out here a minute ago. Things are coming together. Somebody is going to be losing. Look at King of Pentacles in reverse. There's a true leader that's showing up to expose this information. Somebody's going to be losing their security, their stability, their what they feel is a solid foundation, because they didn't get it the right way. This wasn't ultimately for them. They intercepted and took whatever this was, and it's being returned. Next card coming up, clarifying the major arcana card, the new beginning, is the Chariot card. And this talks about moving forward quite quickly, moving towards victory, moving towards success. This is working hard, staying focused, eyes on the prize. This is being mindful of what you're investing your time, energy, and effort into. And as far as the past goes, we're talking about the past. Somebody is walking away from that. Somebody is no longer claiming that energy, staying connected to that energy. I felt that with that other reading as well. I felt like there would be energies that wanted to come in, reconcile, apologize, try to right a wrong or right a situation, and yada yada yada. I didn't feel it happening. I felt like and I feel like I said it whenever I said it in this reading, I felt like whoever I'm talking to that had this happen to them, that were restricted as a result of some bunch of thieving ass people, right? I felt like that person was going to really, hold these people to account, make them suffer the consequences of what they have done, because ultimately they're worried about what's going to happen to their life as a result of what they did, but they had no give a crap about what happened to you as a result of what they did. This is just the energy. I feel like this was family. I kept feeling family in the other one. I'm feeling it in here. Some of the same energies are showing up. This is just money hungry, greedy ass, low vibing people who either feel a sense of entitlement or feel whatever it is. I don't know. Everybody's going to be different, you know, whatever. So, sovereign. We see the card of sovereignty now. And this says, when you are queen of your life, treat yourself like royalty. And that's exactly it. And it is right up here with this Three of Pentacles and that Ten of Pentacles. And I do feel like like I said, whoever this was intended for, this could have changed the entire trajectory of a person's life. But because this was hidden, it was manipulated, it was lied about, it was whatever bullshit was taking place. Um, it has restricted someone's growth, expansion, and movement forward. right? It has created a lot of burdens. It has really bogged somebody down. 10 of Wands, we already seen that. And now it's time for justice to be served on this. So let's keep moving forward. Next card up is the card of focus. There, we already seen that out here earlier, right there. It's over here. The focus card, focus, my absolute yes list. And this card says if you focus on what you don't want, there's a good chance you might get it. Focus on what you do want instead. And I feel like somebody is going to be focusing on, instead of dwelling and, really focusing on the crap that happened to them, the injustice that has gone on. They're just going to look at it differently. I feel like they're going to approach this and focus on, now that I know, how does this change the future? How does this change the direction I'm going? And I do feel it is going to be very beneficial for someone. So someone's not going to be focusing on the lower vibration. Like someone's not going to, I feel, not care. And it's not that they don't care, but I feel like they're mature enough to know if you don't allow someone to have consequences and be held accountable for what they did, then you're part of the problem, right? Because you're enabling that bad behavior. This is giving me the energy that someone's not going to be focusing on all of that. They're going to be focusing on living their best life, liberating themselves, moving through, coming out of these gates that have been closed, the doors that have been closed for a long time. So next card showing up is the card of feelings, right? This is somebody, again, I did feel that. Healing begins with feeling. Be gentle with yourself and tender with your heart. Yes, absolutely. Because this is, I mean, any way you look at it, I mean, it's devastating, right? I mean, even if you have, people shady like that, like, you don't really want to, it's not going to do, it's going to hurt your heart when people you care about are not higher vibrational beings. They're, I want to say low lives, because obviously you have to be a low life to be stealing, manipulating, cheating, that sort of energy. Self worth is the next card. And this talks about elevating. And this is what's happening with someone. Someone didn't want you to elevate and intentionally did something to block you from elevating, which created a lot of burdens, hardships, tough times on someone. And now it's time for that to be exposed so that someone can elevate. Time's up. You get what you believe you deserve. It's time to raise your standards. And that's right. Absolutely. 10 toes down on that one. So let's get um one more card, and this is Gemini energy. We do have a full moon coming up in Gemini this month, and like next week, I believe there will be readings for that. This says reassess. You have the right to change your mind, and I do feel somebody is changing their mind. I feel like they're changing not only their mind, the way they think about things, the way they look about things. In regards to moving forward in the future, for instance, right? Like a lot of people have, well, that's my family. I can't, hold them accountable, or that's my family, and yada yada. They attach these feelings with these titles, right? And I kind of feel maybe this has been something someone has endured maybe throughout their lifetime, or they've experienced quite a bit throughout their life, where they've, maybe not held people accountable because of, that's my kid, that's my family, that's my parent, that's my what, yada yada, right? I kind of feel like that is done and over now. They're changing their mind on the way they think about this, the way they handle this, the way they do this. And I'm just really picking up because this card is sitting staring me right in the face. It's from the deck over that I got off to the side. It says change course, and there's the keys to doors, right? A closed door is an invitation from life to move in an even better direction. It's time to change course. And I feel like somebody is changing course with the way they handle things. Like I said, they're no longer enabling or sweeping it underneath the rug or making excuses for it, any of that, justifying it, or, oh, they're not doing any of that. So these messages are from the Heart Affirmation deck, and So these are just general little messages. They have been so on point with the readings I've been doing, all of the ones I've been doing. So I hope this follows through for the sign of Leo as well. The first card says, I acknowledge and express my emotions with ease and grace. And that's absolutely beautiful. And I love to hear that. I think it is good for not only you, I feel like it's good for your soul, for your heart to express how you feel and to, if these people have, I feel like there's people that have definitely demonstrated, shown you who they were or who they are. And I feel like it's okay for you to express that and not only express that, but express how that energy made you feel. Like the betrayals, the deceptions, all of that crap. I think it's important for you to take it out. It feels to me like there's some sort of healing in that energy. The next card that comes out, I am a conscious creator of the energy around me. And that's right. You don't want to align with lower vibrational energies. You want to be around authentic energies, energies that have a good heart, a good moral compass, who have values, right? Who are honest, truthful. They're clear about what they desire, what they're doing, where they stand. I am safe to explore new love with others. Yeah, I feel like somebody's leaving behind old connections, connections that were just not healthy for them on a mental, emotional, or definitely financial well being, is what it's feeling like to me. I don't know why these energies thought they would get away with this, but I do know for a long time people got away with a lot of crap. And now if you could take a look around, it's not hard to find where one thing after another is being disclosed, uncovered, revealed, where the truth is finally coming out, bits and pieces here, bits and pieces there. You definitely got a bunch of wet rats running around trying to still hold on to a false narrative. And I feel a lot more people are in tune and aligned and better using their discernment better, right? Like being more discerning on what is real and what is not and acting accordingly. So I embrace the love and power of my cherished self. I honor my divinity. This is somebody intuitive. We did see that energy of somebody trusting their intuition. And I feel like someone always knew. I feel like intuitively someone knew something was off, something wasn't right. I don't feel like they acted upon that intuition. They may have spoken out loud, but they never had the physical validation. And I feel like the universe is saying it's time for you to receive what was rightfully yours that was intercepted by and it does show a group of individuals who, I don't know what their deal was, if they were just, straight up thieves, or if they were just a lower vibrational energy that I just feels like it should be theirs or they deserve what was rightfully. I don't know. It's just a messy situation. So, if you got messy family, some people admit it, some people don't. And, take what resonates, release what doesn't. And the last card says, I am clearly guided by my revered guardian who protects me always. And absolutely do I love that. I've spoken many times about my guides, my ancestors, my loved ones. I have been woken out of bed before with dreams. They have told me things like, like I'm just trying to give you an example in case you have dreams. Like I've woken up and I've had my ancestors, my guides, my loved ones on the other side. Like, we're done with these people trying to block your path. We're clearing these guys out of your way. Then I've seen some crazy stuff happen, not recognizing because I didn't know at the time that there was certain people that were hidden enemies. And when I woke up and I had those dreams like that, I'm glad that I said them to people or someone, because at least someone knew before it all went down. But like I said, my loved ones, real, I felt them coming through in my dream state, and they were like, no, we're sick of these people being in your way. We're going to clear out the path of anybody trying to stop, block, slow you down, hold you up, anything like that, right? And it did not take long. And when I say not long, I mean within less than 24 hours, I was seeing things that were happening that I was like, wow, my dream warned me about that happening. And boom, it showed up because that was their way of showing me who was blocking me, who was stopping me, who was hindering my movement forward. And best believe my spirit guides came through and sat some people down. It was just that powerful. It was insane, crazy. It shocked me, and I don't usually get too surprised like that. So let's pull one more card. Let's pull one more card and then we will close this reading out. Leo, I hope this helps you. And I do hope December is a beautiful month filled with closing out this old cycle and embracing and enhancing, your path forward into your new cycle. So for 2026, this final card says, I acknowledge and accept emotions as they arise within me without prejudice or judgment. Feel your feelings. I accept my vulnerability. It strengthens my love of self. So, yeah, don't ever beat yourself up for being a good person with a pure heart and innocent intention, honest intentions. Not everybody carries that same vibration you do. There are just energies out there that they're not aligned, right? Stay being true to you, to yourself, to your purpose, to your mission forward. Stay on your path and, you know, keep moving forward. 2026 is your year, Leo. Have a great day. I send you love and light.